Hello everyone and welcome to Buzz Banter. I'm Mernwin.
I'm Sam.
And apparently I'm not introducing these anymore.
No.
Only when I'm here. I've taken over.
Yeah.
I'm your boss. Okay, whatever. Apparently, so we were going to talk about Star Wars Detours, but considering I'm no longer the boss here, we'll just talk about death.
That's a cool thing. Death's awesome.
Death is awesome. I'm not talking about the Dark Side 2 character.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I know you love him. No, we are in fact going to be talking about the role that death of characters, and especially main characters, plays within any sort of narrative, like movies, video games, what have you. Let's chat.
Let's chat. Okay, who wants to start off this point?
Well, I guess let's start with movies, because this is one of the most mainstream, I guess, kind of things where you see death, you know, character attachment and whatnot. More like it kind of speaks more to the general populace. And so you often see the main character die at the end of a movie. You'll never see them die in the middle.
No.
Never see. Well, otherwise, where's your story, right? It'll be interesting one day to see a character die in the middle and be like, actually, I'm the main character.
Yeah, you've had 2 or 3 Red Herring movies, but it's not something that gets too popular.
Well, not everything's Citizen Kane, where it's all a flashback.
No, but even that, like, alright, you know he's died, but this is what his life was like and everything.
I'm just saying he died, technically.
But, I think the closest to a red herring like that you got was actually the very last Harry Potter film, when you find out that Neville's the one that was meant to do everything, because if you watch it closely, he beheads the snake, Voldemort starts losing that fight, but his skin starts to flake off, and then he's disarmed. Harry's spell wasn't meant to kill him, it was just meant to disarm him. So he's dying because Neville killed the snake. So Neville was actually always the chosen one.
Well, if you read the book, it's kind of like...
Well, in the books it's Harry, because Harry does kill Voldemort.
Well, that's a really, really big topic that we can't get into right now, I'm sorry.
But that's like closer to a red herring that you run into in movies. But that being said, the death of a main character, or the ambiguity of the survival or not of a character at the end of films, has often made for very good films. I'm actually thinking of that Denzel Washington film, Man on Fire.
Oh. I was thinking 12 Monkeys, it was pretty good. That's not Denzel Washington, though.
12 Monkeys, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
But at the same time, sometimes they add unnecessary deaths.
Yes.
And it's kind of like, well...
Well, there's deaths that are just like, it's so manipulative and it's just so forced to make you feel that emotion.
Yeah. That you don't end up feeling anything. You're just kind of like...
The biggest one would have to be mostly in video gaming, and it's Gears of War 3 is the death of a certain character in there. Is just like it's all built up to that moment and it's just so artificial.
Yeah.
Whereas actually all of the character deaths revolve around that one character and his one relationship.
Yeah.
Throughout all of the 3 games. But that being said, it's a very well presented death.
It's a well presented, but it's still artificial, whereas you take another game like Mass Effect, and I'm taking all 3 games, like if you play all 3 of them, or even just the last 2, take Morden's death.
That was fantastic. Actually, I would actually say the only death that I liked more than that was Legion's.
Well, yeah, Legion's, I'm more of the Morden, I like Morden. Legion's death was good, don't get me wrong, but actually, sorry, no, my favorite death was Thane's.
Thane's? Yeah. Thane's...
Sorry to leave you out of this.
Well, what I'm thinking is that we really need to, like, specify what about death we're talking about, because death is such a broad topic.
Well, it's true.
What we need to discuss is, like, the role that death serves within the frame of a narrative and within the frame of actually engaging the audience, whether through a video game or through a movie or what have you. I think the big thing there is, you need to, first of all, you need to have some sort of attachment to the characters.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be a line that has been crossed in some way, and this will change between the mediums. The reason why I say Legion as compared to Morden, Morden's death, he's going to die no matter what you do. But you kind of have the choice of killing him or not, depending on
spoilers.
Oh, please! If you haven't played it by now, you deserve to have it spoiled. It's like not knowing that Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father.
Spoilers!
Seriously, you're wearing a Vader watch.
I know, I'm just kidding.
We can actually use many different examples for this because I think the key word is actually more or less attachment.
Yeah.
But it's more or less you have to care about the death. Whether you like the character or not, you need to see what the death is doing, whether it comes across well or not. Like I said, the death for Dominic, depending on how into Gears of War, really came off as very artificial.
Yeah.
Whereas, what's a really good example? The death for the death, or should I say, the multiple deaths in Spec Ops: The Line came off as horrific. And then you have, of course, Mass Effect, which I mentioned, which was meaningful. To us.
Well, yeah, but those are differences between a line has been crossed and you cared about this character. But even that you can screw up. Let's take the example from movies. You have Star Wars Episode 3 when Anakin goes to kill the younglings, and you have this little kid who's just... Master Skywalker, there's too many of them, what are we going to do? Who's just there to be cute and then die.
Oh, I hate it when movies add kids just to
and then you compare that
that's
to...
pretty much the last two prequel movies.
But then you compare that to... what was that film? Not Super 8, where those 3 kids get superpowers.
Chronicle.
In Chronicle...
That's like my favorite movie of like 2011.
No,
yes.
In Chronicle you have a spider that's killed by the telekinetic powers of this guy. And both of them, like, you don't care about the spider, you don't care about the kid, but it's a threshold that's being crossed by this character that's doing this kill. And the way that it's presented on the two sides, in Chronicle it has very serious impact. For Anakin, it doesn't matter because we've seen this guy through the last 3 films kill people indiscriminately.
Well, here's the other thing about that. One thing, you don't have any attachment to the kids except for the fact that, oh, it's like killing a puppy.
I know, and it's just like sometimes people, like filmmakers, they're like, oh, look how cute they are, and then they're dead. And it just makes me so upset, like, at the filmmaker. I don't care that they kill the kids. And I'm such a... caring person, and obviously it just bothers me so much.
No, you're easily the most caring. You easily still have a soul or portions of it.
Exactly. You haven't bought Darksiders yet. We bought that. Oh yeah.
But anyways, like this is what I was saying before, where something just seems artificial. You're just doing it for the sake of doing it, for the sake of a plot device.
It brings you outside of the film, and that's why you stop caring.
You literally just go. You start shrugging and gasping.
It needs to serve a purpose within the narrative, and just to create that shock reaction, that's not good enough. Actually, at Anime North, we did a video about this. There was a panel about writing strong women characters, and one of the things that they very seriously emphasized was, if you're going to have a strong woman as, like she became strong as a reaction to something, for God's sake, stop making it rape.
Yeah.
Because that's always what it is. This is, I actually have to hand like they said it at the panel that, look, if you are going to rape a female character, change her to male. Would you still rape her? If the answer is no, come up with something else, because it's not crucial to the story, and therefore there's no point to it. There's
another part to that, is like if you are gonna do it, and this is just a little bit back to not Crystal Dynamics. The guys are doing the new Tomb Raider game.
Yeah.
I'm just like, don't take it back, and don't try to say it's something we know it obviously is. There is no way you can interpret that scene as anything else but a rape scene, or at least an attempted rape scene.
Yeah.
Like, it's supposed to be, it's her first kill, but it's also she was defending herself. It was... Yeah, it's supposed to be that thing where it's justified because that was going to happen. I'm sorry. That's what that scene was.
Yeah.
And don't take it back. Like, you can't obviously celebrate that type of thing.
No, you can't.
You weren't going to, but for some reason you thought you were, for some reason. I'm just talking to the developers of that game right now.
It's something that doesn't come across in video games, and so they tried to include it as going, oh look, we have a rape scene in our game. But the thing is, it doesn't serve enough of a purpose. There's no real reason to do it, besides adding some shock value. Well, and that should never be the reason to do anything.
Yeah, because ironically, it takes away the shock value.
I would actually have to say that it does have one purpose, and the fact you just mentioned it, that no one's ever done anything that extreme in a video game.
Well, not in a AAA title.
Not in a Yeah, I guess you're kind of right. But the thing is that we kind of need to push those boundaries a little bit. And I have to say, if it does anything, it does at least that. So it's not like it's completely useless. Because we do need to... Like, no, I'm the guy who, like, I want games to push boundaries. I want them to be more than that. I want them to be where movies are, where they're no longer in the cultural ghetto like comics are, unfortunately. I want them to be like, you can go to you can play a video game and it's like watching a great movie, like a great artistic thing. You're cultured if you do it. That's what I want games to kind of be at.
Yeah.
And it's things like that push it in that direction, that go to these extremes.
Yeah, but...
like I said, push the boundary. Like I said, you're right, if you're just doing it for the sake of doing it, it's wrong.
Yeah.
Because you're just basically celebrating it.
Yeah.
It's when you do it and it has a purpose, like...
That's exactly what he's been saying the whole time.
Yeah, I know. I'm more or less agreeing with you.
Yeah.
But I was just trying to make the point, like, that particular thing can serve a purpose if it's pushing the boundaries.
Yeah, again, if it's there for a purpose.
Yeah.
But are we talking about death now?
Yeah, we should be talking more about... Keep in mind, that wasn't death scene.
Well, no, that ties in alongside death. When Lord of the Rings came out, just a year previously, I had gotten so fed up of watching like science fiction and fantasy films, because at the beginning of the film I could go, alright, he's going to die, but his death is going to matter because it's going to make that guy want to kill that guy.
Yeah, it was
and because it just follows that predictable pattern, and it
happens in anime more than anything.
It happens in anime.
It happens with every genre. Every genre has their cookie cut kind of things that.
Well, you have the formula. You have the formula, and the formula is there because the formula works. People do get involved with it, but when you have nothing but formula, it becomes predictable and it starts losing. But then you need to step up your game. You need to make it so that death means something. Within the realm of the Mass Effect series, all the deaths in that game mean something.
Mainly because you spent like over 100 hours with that character and you became attached.
Actually, the only deaths that really didn't matter, I think, were in the second game, where there were a couple of characters that you either didn't pick up or would end up dying, that you really didn't care about because they weren't that fleshed out. They would just appeared in that game. They were interesting characters if you were into their sort of personality types, but they otherwise didn't matter. But in Mass Effect 1, when you need to choose which of your two squad mates are going to stay behind and die, big thing for you because you know that no matter who you choose, you can't save them. They are gone.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing when you move into Mass Effect 3, that these are characters that you saw from the previous two games. And you're kind of excited to see them again. They're no longer part of your crew anymore, but they were still interesting characters, and I actually think it was the most popular characters that they killed off.
Yeah, Mordin and Thane.
It was Mordin, Thane, and Legion, the three favorite characters that were introduced. They killed off the three of them, and they all meant something. Thane sacrifices himself. Mordin, it's down to the decisions you've made.
You can actually save Mordin. If you're like a dick, but...
you can. But Legion is the big one, because if he doesn't sacrifice himself, you are forced to kill him.
Yeah.
For the greater good. And it's a very moving scene in all of their cases. Because they're given actually a proper send-off.
It can also, I was going to say, death can also sometimes tell you things about yourself, even if it's sometimes a quick decision. Whereas books, they're so about their story.
Yeah.
Unless you're talking about Twilight, which is not.
Or Waiting for Godot, which is not about the story. But
no, but that's the whole point of the book.
Yeah, it's such an awesome... Play.
Play.
Same thing with plays. Like, you can't really ruin a play. It's more about the spectacle.
Well, unless the play ruins itself. The day Billy lived. Well done.
Well, the thing with that is movies are the same way. I think the biggest difference just between books and movies is like movies have a span where it's okay to start spoiling them.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you hit a certain time, you assume everyone's already watched it.
Exactly.
But with books, it's not the same thing. You can read a book anytime. You know, it's still one of those things.
I have like 8 books I still need to read that I buy, and I know I want to read them, but I have such this threshold I have to get over to read them.
Anyway, I think we should wrap it up there.
So death, make sure that has a point, and we all actually, just before we wrap up, your favorite character deaths, any medium.
Oh shit.
Oh wow, way to put us on the spot.
I know, I can't just think of that.
Yeah, there's so many. I mean, I immediately thought of like Mordin and Thane in Mass Effect, but I'm sure there's a better one I can think of. So, I mean, right now I'd have to say, I'd have to think about that, but right now I'd have to say one of those two, between those two would be mine.
Alright.
Because I really felt for Mordin when I was like, oh no, I know what's happening and I don't